Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder again with another Reddit story for you. This one comes from AITAH and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Asking My Wife Not to Hang Out with Her Friend Who Has a Different Lifestyle Than Us Because I'm Afraid of Losing Her? Throwaway account because I mostly use Reddit for work-related topics. Me, 37 male, and my wife, 35 female, have been married for 14 years. We met when we were both in college. She studied literature, I studied engineering, and was getting into tech. We were dating for 2 years when she got pregnant, and we decided to get married and start a family. We decided together that I would work and she would be a stay-at-home mom because it would be difficult for her to find a well-paying job with her major, and I was already starting to earn quite well. I've also always had a fairly conservative approach to family life, and I was so happy to be a sole provider. She always wanted to be a mom and was looking forward to being a stay-at-home mom. Right now, our children are 14 and 12 years old. I have a good job and my wife stays home taking care of the house. This arrangement has always suited her, but recently she has begun to mention that she feels a bit lonely and lacks friends, especially now that the kids are older and she has more time to herself. Indeed, our social life mostly consisted of meetings with my work colleagues and their wives, whom my wife can hardly call friends. That's why I was happy at first when my wife ran into her best friend from college, let's call her Anna. According to my wife, they got along so well as if they didn't have an almost 14-year-old break in contact. When my wife got pregnant, she drifted apart from her college friends. They started meeting for coffee quite often. When my wife returned from these meetings, she was overjoyed and excited and told me a lot about Anna. It was then that I began to worry. Yeah, I'm gonna red flag it. I'm red flagging OP here because coming back excited and happy was a red flag to him. That's a red flag for you, OP. We'll see where it goes. During the time my wife had no contact with her, Anna got her PhD in literature, started teaching at the university, and became the editor of one of the most important cultural magazines in our country. Her husband is an award-winning writer, apparently very well recognized. It's hard for me to say anything about this. I have no idea about literature. They earn well, do not have and do not want children, and basically lead a carefree lifestyle completely different than ours. They have lots of friends from their literary academic circle, consider these friends family, and go several times a week to various author meetings, galas, gallery openings, and God knows what else. From what I've gathered, they are also much more progressive and liberal than I am. For example, they divide all of their chores and bills 50-50, and they have a mixed gender group of friends. Anna is friends with men and her husband with women, which I always considered inappropriate in a serious relationship. Which is like generally, just generally. Your wife is not allowed to have any male friends, and you're not allowed to have any female friends. Also, does OP like hand out questionnaires? He's like, you have to fill out this application in order to be friends with us. We have to have the same political leanings. We have to have the same interests, the same religious profiles. We have to have the same values. My wife invited Anna and her husband for dinner because she really wanted me to meet them. She hoped we would both start going to all these cultural events with them. They were very polite and respectful and didn't comment in any way on the differences in our lifestyles, but dinner was nevertheless quite tiresome for me as I don't have any common topics with them. While my wife knows that I don't share her passion for literature, just as she doesn't share my interest in technology. But this has never been an issue in our marriage. We traveled together, went on bike trips, went to our favorite restaurants and movies, etc. I didn't understand why she suddenly wanted this to change. Anna started taking my wife to some of the literary events organized by her magazine and also invited her to write a couple of reviews for a column she is running. She apparently sees great potential in my wife and appreciates her insight, which my wife accepted with great joy. I was torn. On the one hand, I was happy that my wife didn't feel alone and that she had something to do when the kids are at school with their friends. On the other hand, I was afraid that I was losing my wife, that she would turn into someone else under Anna's influence. I was also afraid that other men will hit on her at the events Anna invites her to, even though my wife repeats that all of Anna's friends know that she is married and a mother. They never cross any boundaries and always speak of her family with respect. I'm red flagging him again here. I finally told my wife that I was uncomfortable with her friendship with Anna, that I was afraid this relationship would change her for the worse, and that she would no longer care about our marriage and children. Wow. Quite the freaking leap there, isn't it? Yeah. I'm sorry. You're getting into like way too cultural of a crowd, and I'm afraid that's going to lead to you just leaving your family behind. I said that I can't forbid her to do anything, but that I would feel much better if she didn't go to all these events with Anna and if she didn't accept an offer to write reviews for her magazine. My wife said that the friendship with Anna is very important to her, that she had been feeling depressed lately, spending most of the day at home all alone, and that contact with people with whom she can talk about things she's passionate about has made her feel significantly better. I promised to her that I will work less and I will spend more time with her. I also repeated that I cannot forbid her to see Anna and friends, but that this friendship really makes me uncomfortable. She was sad, but understood me and said that she will stop spending time with Anna. Yesterday, I talked to my older brother, whose advice I always appreciate about this situation. He said that me and my wife married really young and that it's understandable that she might feel like she's missing out on things outside family life. He also said that the only way to make sure that my wife is with me because she really loves me and not because she's just stuck with me and has no other options is to give her the freedom to spend time with other people, even though it makes me uncomfortable. It really made me think and question my own behavior. I really don't want to be a person who limits my wife's freedom, but I also don't want to tempt fate in order to see if she really loves me. It would break my heart to lose her, and maybe deep inside, I feel like she would leave me if she had any other options, so I don't want her to have those options. I feel like shit, am I the astronaut? Did we just meet the smallest man who ever lived? Is that what happened? Candy Thunder left us a note here. I'm going to read Candy Thunder's feedback here. Candy Thunder notes. If your wife loves you, she will be with you 100%. Your insecurities are getting the better of you. If she has given you no reason to believe she doesn't love you, then why are you borrowing trouble? Being a stay-at-home parent can be a lonely world. Let her enjoy herself without your insecurities getting in the way. She can be happy being your wife and also happy having a friend with common interest. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. She did everything correctly to reassure you that her relationship with her friend will not negatively affect your marriage. You are the one who is currently having a negative impact on your relationship. Get out of your own head and encourage your partner to chase her dreams that exist outside of being a stay-at-home parent. If you can't do this for her, then you don't deserve her. Because right now you are telling your wife that she can only be friends with people that you approve of. It's weird. Yeah. And in addition to that, like oh my gosh. Yeah, the amount of self-loathing going on with this guy. To have the theory in your mind that if your significant other ventures out into the world and discovers that there are other humans out there, they'll probably leave you because they'll discover they have other options and don't think like other than you. You've got a lot of work to do on you, OP. I will tell you right now with 100% certainty that 100% of the problem that you're experiencing here is you and is all up here. Candy Thunder said, get out of your own head. This is your insecurity controlling the narrative here and presenting worst case scenario here at the slightest hint of you losing control of your wife. And that's the biggest issue for me here is that in an attempt to pacify your own insecurities, you have become controlling. You're telling her who she can and can't hang out with. You're saying, I can't forbid you, but this really makes me uncomfortable. And yeah, I get it. You're explaining your feelings. We need to get into why you have those feelings. And if you have the feeling that if your wife goes out and hangs out with friends who you have no reason to believe are anything other than respectful, decent, kind human beings, that these friends are going to turn her into some kind of monster that's going to leave her family behind, and she's going to get hit on and like run off with the first guy that tells her she looks nice. You have a lot of shit going on in your head that needs to be addressed here. I feel bad for your wife, not just because of the control that you're exerting upon her right now, but the pressure of your happiness you have placed on her. You have placed 100% of the pressure of your happiness on her. You have to figure out how to be happy with yourself so this insecurity doesn't drive the boat, because it's going to drive it straight into the rocks. Your marriage is the boat. Just in case we need to dispel that out. I want to say this is an ask on one behavior. I don't think he realizes that it's an ask on one behavior, but it is. Your poor wife, man. Reconnecting with an old friend and finding a doorway into a world that she probably has always been fascinated by, but this friend has like the golden ticket to it and can get her connected easily into things that she's passionate about, and they excite her. And you're like, I'm really uncomfortable with your happiness. because your happiness right now isn't coming from me. I'm uncomfortable with the fact that something outside of the sphere of my control or that I can even see is making you happy. Do you see how shitty that is? It's terrible. There needs to be individual therapy for you first, OP. I think you've got to get in there for probably, 6 months plus on your own to untangle the spaghetti mess that's going on. And then once you have a clear image of it, maybe getting both of you in there would be a great idea. But I do think you need to do some solo time here and figure it out. Right now, he believes that she's with him because he is hiding the fact that there are other men in the world from her. Candy Thunder says his insecurities did more damage than her becoming friends with Anna. Yeah, she was already friends with Anna. She just reconnected with her. And probably the most harmful part of this to me is that, OP, you asked her to decline the offer to write for a publication. She received an offer that would help propel her into a direction professionally, which I'm sure she's starving for right now because she's been a stay-at-home parent for a long time and now feels siloed, feels isolated. And the first lifeline that gets thrown her way, you're like, please don't. How selfish can you be? That's why you're at AskCon 1, because you completely chose yourself at every turn here to the detriment of your wife. It's supposed to be the other way around, right? You're supposed to put your partner first before yourself. You, OP, chose yourself at every turn. And that's why you're at AskCon 1. Be aware. Start doing some work to fix it. I don't believe that this was malicious. I don't believe that you were intentionally allowing your insecurities to drive the boat and controlling her here because you're some evil dude. I think your insecurities have taken the wheel. And if you want your relationship to survive the long haul, you have to figure out how to take the wheel back from your insecurities, back from the worst case scenario that's playing in your head on autopilot. You have to figure out how to take control and not let it make decisions for you. And Candy Thunder talks about this a lot. When you hear that voice in your head telling you these things, like if she goes out there and gets hit on, she's going to run away and leave her family behind. When you hear that voice in your head telling you those things, ask yourself, if this voice was a person outside of your body, would you be friends with that person? And I don't think you would be.